Hey everybody, welcome back to Keeping It Real in the Kitchen. I'm Candace Cole. Today we're doing a viewer suggested video, and I'm so glad it was suggested. Yes, we have frozen herbs in oil, but now we're gonna dry some herbs because, you know, sometimes you have plants that have grown out of control. I had this neighbor with at least 3 foot tall rosemary plants, and I was like, that is amazing. But what happens when you have a ton of basil, or you've grown some catnip, or you've grown other things? Catnip was one of the suggestions, and I was like, that's cool to dry up some catnip. Good thinking. This recipe, and I'm using recipe in quotes because we're just gonna be drying it out, works for any of your herbs: peppermint, basil, rosemary, catnip. You've got it. There's so much more. Parsley. You can use it for all of that. It's totally adaptable. First thing you're gonna need to do is get your plants, and you're gonna pick off the leaves. Now, an easy way to do that is just grab it by that little connection point, is what I would call that, and then just tear them apart. We are going to wash these. It's gonna happen. Let's get them washed, pick them apart, get your leaves prepared. Just like that. You can do a ton more herbs than what I have here. I'm using one pretty small cookie sheet. You can use 2 big ones. We just wanna make sure that they're on the top rack. Now we wanna get our oven preheated to 195 degrees. I'm doing 195 because I know I'm gonna be rinsing these and they're gonna be a little wet, and I want them to dry quickly. You could do 175, it's probably gonna have to cook a little longer. Let me rinse these, put them on the pan, we'll get them in the oven. It would make sense to use a colander or a strainer to do this, but I only have one and it's dirty. I could wash it, but that would just make sense. We have our leaves on here. They've been washed. I kind of shook them dry, but you can see they're pretty wet. Now we're gonna get them in the oven at 195 degrees. We're gonna let them cook probably about an hour and a half, give or take. We're gonna be looking, we can check on them, see how they look. Once they look dried up, if you give that pan a shake and they sound kind of crunchy, you're probably good to go. Let's get them cooking and we'll be checking on them. All right, I just pulled those herbs out. You can see how crunchy they are. After your herbs are all dried up, what you're gonna wanna do is put them in a bag. You can grind them up just in a bowl with your hands. You could do it many different ways if you'd like to, but this way is easy, and then they're ready to be stored. Hopefully you have more herbs than me. Now mine only took an hour and 10 minutes to cook, but I think that's because I had such a small amount. But I kept checking on them, I kept looking at them just to make sure that they weren't done yet. And once they're in the bag, just like that, seal it up, push out some of the air, and you just crunch them. And you have dried herbs, dried basil, ready to use in ingredients. Now, once you do dry herbs like this, I feel like they do lose a little bit of potency, so you may have to use a little more than what a recipe calls for. It's up to you. You'll test, you'll taste, you'll see what you like. That's how simple it can be to dry any herbs. Thanks so much for the video suggestion. I hope you guys subscribe. I'll see you next time. Bye.